Welcome to this 7th IoD99 bite size and to a rather chilly and grey London. So it's been a bit of an interesting week, obviously, as we've seen things going on in the French elections and a warning from the French that London might not be the financial capital post-Brexit. We've got to be a little bit careful on that. On the topic of the city, there's also been warnings about how do we keep talent from the EU in London post the Brexit deal. And then, exciting, we're coming up to the 100 days of the Trump presidency. And what's he going to do there? And rather unsurprisingly, he's just come out and said that there might be some sort of corporation tax cut out there. Not, obviously, I'm sure it isn't done as a sweetener or anything like that. But to explain a little bit more about what has been going on, to give an insight into some of the key issues, both from an election and another business context as well, and with a startup focus, I'm joined by my partner in crime, Jamie, who was actually out in Paris last week and had a real interesting insight from what the startup scene in Paris looks like, and an awesome IoD99-er, Linsay, who's going to tell us a bit about her business and some of the key issues that her business is facing at the moment. So, Jamie, Linsay, over to you guys.
Well, thanks very much, Alex. Guys, well, as Alex said, it's been an interesting week abroad. It's been an interesting week in France. We saw with the French election, and obviously Donald Trump is coming up to his first 100 days, so people are sort of pouring back over what he has and hasn't achieved. And I think maybe that's something for a kind of longer thought piece rather than an IoD99 bite. But to be honest, in the UK this week and over the last few days, it really has been all about the election, I suppose, which for some people, you know, we're going to the polls again on a national basis for the third time in 3 years. Some people turn them off straight away. But I think it is important to look at it. And I think really the first week of campaigning proper has been characterised by basically a slew of announcements from Labour, whether that's on salary rises in the NHS, whether it's on issues around affordable housing, or increasing the number of bank holidays. Labour have really had all the airtime, all the limelight, all the headlines this week, and the Tories have been really content to let them to basically have it. So the Tories have sat back, Labour have taken most of the coverage, and actually if we look at the polls, it seems like the Tories are doing particularly well and Labour seem to be dropping away a little bit. So it seems to be a tactic that is working for Theresa May at this point. I think we saw a poll earlier in the week that put the Tories at 49%, which is unprecedented. Now, it is worth bearing in mind that it's just one poll. And actually, we're going to see hundreds more of these before this is all over. So we shouldn't read too much into it. I think on the business side, and from a startup point of view, it's actually been a relatively quiet week. We're still hearing rumblings, obviously, about issues around migration and skills shortages on the back of the Brexit vote. And I think that really is going to provide the undercurrent for the next 2 years of negotiations. So there's nothing necessarily that different there. But we are also seeing, and we have also seen some statistics this week on EIS and SEIS investments, and if you're not familiar with them, these are investment reliefs which are targeted at investors for smaller companies and more high-risk companies. And particularly on the SEIS side of things, which is seed investment, we're seeing slow growth, albeit painfully slow. The number of companies applying for these investments is going up year on year. So one of the things that the IoD is going to be pushing for very hard throughout the election campaign is for the government, whichever government, to raise awareness of some of these reliefs, but also to make sure that we're dealing with this London and South East skew. A lot of the reliefs are actually taken up by investors and the eligibility for them taken up by companies in London and the South East, and few are obviously taken up further to the north. So whichever colour the next government is, they are going to have to be pushing the benefits of these reliefs a lot further than they are at the moment. And I think also extending some of the eligibility for them as well. Another one of our big pillars as the election campaign gets underway proper will be around migration. It's something we've heard a lot about from IoD99ers, about possible skills shortages, and particularly those in the tech and digital space. And it's a sector which is growing at twice the pace of the rest of the economy, and employment growth in tech and digital businesses over the last 5 or 6 years has actually been 50% has been accounted for from foreign-born workers as well. So this is an area where we'll be pushing very hard to make sure that there is access to a big pool of talented migrants from abroad. Either way, you should absolutely watch this space for more IoD election coverage. I know that my colleague Andy Sylvester is going to be doing a weekly roundup of what the election has meant for the business community more generally, and we'll try and link this into the video here so you can get sight of that as well. It will be well worth a watch. But as Alex said, obviously these videos are obviously an opportunity to highlight and showcase some of the fantastic talent that we have in the IoD99. And I'm really thrilled to be joined by Linsay Duncan here today, who's going to tell us a little bit about her business Marketing, and also, what were the issues? Were there any issues when you were starting it up? What was the motivation behind starting it up? We might discuss a little bit more about it after that. But Linsay, if you could just tell us a little bit about what your motivations were for starting the business and how it's going.
Sure. Thank you for inviting me along. It's nice
No
to be
worries.
here. So Marketing is, we're 5.5 years old now.
Sure.
We're a hands-on B2B marketing consultancy. Our vision, my business partner and myself, when we set out, was to take the experience we had as marketing directors for big corporates and build a business model that would allow us to take that to growing businesses. So we typically work with businesses who are a few years in. They've probably grown successfully organically through good referrals and a good network, but reach a point where they realise they've got to get a bit more professional about marketing. And so that's where we come in and offer part-time, flexible marketing director support. So the CEO or MD at the time has probably got quite ambitious revenue targets to meet, a growing sales force as well, and says, okay, we need some professional marketing here now. So what our model helps is give them flexible marketing director support. A business at that stage probably doesn't need a heavy-hitting marketing director full-time, but they need the right balance of strategic advice and guidance, but also someone who can get on and help them do the marketing. So our business model is all about that flexibility, and our marketing directors are hands-on people who can get stuff done as well. And we've built a team of marketing specialists so that we can pull on. So essentially the client has one marketing director who works on site and off site, who feels like a part of their team, who then pulls on our wider team. They get the benefits of all of that, but they deal with one person. There's no HR contracts and ties, recruitment needs, no contracts with multiple suppliers. We take care of all of that. And in return, the CEO has someone come in and build high-performing marketing for them.
Yeah. And one of the big themes that we're hearing from businesses, particularly from SMEs in general, is this sort of idea of uncertainty. We've had so many different sort of big political moments of upheaval really over the last few years, and what we hear is a lot of businesses don't want to look too far in the future in terms of planning. And do you find that the sort of flexibility you offer is something which is helpful to businesses who aren't really able to look as far into the future as they would like?
Absolutely. All of our clients appreciate that flexibility and the ability to turn our support up and down depending on what's going on with their business. And I think across all of our clients, it's incredibly difficult to plan at the moment for Brexit and its implications because we're still in this limbo state. But one of the things we're trying to do at least is help prepare for the potential financial hit, which I think some businesses are expecting. And so we're looking at ways of helping businesses' marketing budgets go further, so helping them be much smarter with their spend, but also exploring things like partner marketing. So what businesses do they work with that they can team up with and do joint marketing and make their budgets go further?
Yeah, amazing. Well, Linsay, thanks so much anyway for coming and sharing some of that with us. It is a bite, so we try and keep it relatively brief and keep your attention. So I'm going to pass back to Alex to round up.
Linsay, Jamie, thank you so much. As Jamie was saying, every week we try and showcase one of the amazing entrepreneurs we have within the 99 network. If you are watching this, and you've watched a few of these now and you haven't joined, you really should join, otherwise we'll have to stick some sort of registration wall behind this. Let us know what you think of this. Tweet it out, comment on the section below this. Jamie and I are both on Twitter, so is Linsay. Do check out the other bite sizes as well. As Jamie said, we're doing one with Andy Sylvester. There'll be a bit more of a more general business one focused on the election, which I'm sure will be very interesting in the next few weeks as they all sort of come out with their manifestos and they all sort of argue against each other. But thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic weekend. Remember, it's a bank holiday on Monday, so you've got a line. And see you next week.